Welcome back to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to understanding. We're picking up a story we've been following closely.
We are indeed.
Today, we're diving into Chapter 5 of Eugene McMillan's autobiography, Vagabond on Victory Road.
That's right. This is our fifth installment looking into Eugene's incredible journey, really digging into his experiences crossing the country back then.
And each chapter, it seems, just opens up a whole new perspective on, life on the road during that time. This one feels particularly stark.
It really does. Chapter 5, Stranded in Imperial Valley. That title says a lot already.
That certainly does. So our mission for this deep dive: unpack what happens when Eugene gets unexpectedly completely stuck in this small desert town.
Yeah, what were the challenges? Who did he meet? He's trying so hard just to keep moving east.
It feels like a real test for him in this chapter. Shows you just how unpredictable that kind of travel was and, well, the different kinds of people you might run into.
Definitely the highs and lows of relying on strangers.
Okay, let's just dive right in. So Chapter 5 kicks off seeming almost easy. He's just left El Centro, puts his thumb out, and boom, gets a ride almost immediately.
Yeah, it starts off super quick. A guy pulls over, yells, "Get in, kid, let's go!" Already you get a sense of urgency, maybe?
Or maybe recklessness.
Yeah.
Because the description of the driver and the car,
Yeah.
it sets off alarm bells straight away.
Right. Eugene calls the driver a modern Jehu.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know, is a biblical reference to someone who drives, well, like a total maniac.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the car. A touring car, but with the body sawed off. Eugene notes it has definite marks of reckless driving. Not exactly reassuring.
And the absolute kicker: the driver's arm is in a plaster cast.
You just know how that happened, right? Or you can guess.
Eugene has to ask, of course. And the answer, shouted over the wind.
Just car wreck. So blunt. So terrifying when you're in the passenger seat.
Oh, completely. Eugene's description, it puts you right there. He's shuddering slightly, hands gripping the seat, feet braced. You feel the tension.
You can almost feel the wind whistling past. It's a very visceral description of a very short, very wild ride.
He must have been so relieved when it was over.
Absolutely. A huge sigh of relief, I imagine, when they finally pull into Holtville, California.
Holtville? So what's the deal with this place?
Well, it's a small town, but its location is everything. It's right there on the edge of this huge, arid desert region.
And that geography is the key challenge here, isn't it?
It immediately becomes the main problem. But interestingly, before he realizes the full extent of it, he sees this unexpected beauty there.
Right, he calls it no prettier place. Talks about a lovely, grassy square with date palms. Sounds almost idyllic.
Like a little green oasis, yeah. But it's an oasis right before 40 very desolate miles of desert standing between him and Yuma, Arizona.
That's the next big hurdle, 40 miles.
And he learns pretty fast just how big a hurdle when he bumps into other hitchhikers who are already stuck there.
Ah, the veterans of waiting. What's word on the street?
It's pretty grim. The consensus is nobody will risk carrying a hitchhiker across the desert. Just flat out. No way.
Oof. So that quick ride from El Centro suddenly feels like a cruel joke.
Totally. He's stranded. Could be days. And he sees that same hopeless dejection on the faces of the others who've been waiting. It's contagious.
And the atmosphere sounds miserable, too. That oppressive heat, and then gnats.
Yeah, gnats everywhere, biting, buzzing. It just adds to the feeling of being stuck, uncomfortable, stagnant. It's more than just waiting. It's really enduring.
Okay, so things shift a bit as the day cools down. He connects with a couple of other guys his age.
It sounds like a pretty natural thing. They seem to drift together, finding some common ground, maybe drawn by just seeing a friendly face in a tough spot. These guys are Raleigh and Don.
Tell us about them. What are their stories?
Well, Raleigh, he'd been working up in California on a truck farm. Now he's just trying to get back home to Minnesota. Standard enough story for the time.
And
Don's a bit different. Just finished 4 years in the Navy down in San Diego. Decided to hitchhike across the whole country.
why hitchhike after 4 years in the Navy? Seems like he'd want a comfortable ride home.
Apparently he wanted the thrill of it, plus save some money. But Eugene notes pretty dryly that the romantic thrill had worn off really fast.
Huh. Reality bites, especially when you're stuck in Holtville.
Exactly. Reality was setting in hard for Don.
So darkness is falling. They realize, okay, nobody's crossing the desert tonight. They're exhausted. The focus changes, right?
Totally. Forget going east for now. It's about basic survival. Where are we going to sleep? And crucially, how can we afford it?
Because money is incredibly tight. They need every cent for food. So they spend, what, over an hour just walking around looking for cheap lodging?
Yeah, combing the streets of Holtville. And while they're walking, Eugene observes the town at night. He's struck by just how many saloons there are for a small place. Noisy, crowded, lots of gambling.
He gives a description of the inside too, doesn't he?
He does. Unkempt men at rickety tables. And he notes about half are swarthy Mexican hombres, likely farm laborers from south of the border,
Right, working the fields by day.
and spending their nights, and presumably their small earnings, in revelry and gambling. It gives you a little snapshot of the social dynamic in a border town like that, centered around agriculture.
It adds some real texture to the place he's trapped in. So after all that searching, do they find a place?
They finally do. A cheap rooming house run by this dent, white-haired old man.
And it's so cheap they still have to pool their money.
Exactly. They scraped together 75 cents for one double bed. And Eugene makes a point of saying that after chipping in, he is completely broke, penniless.
Wow, that's a vulnerable spot. Penniless, sharing a tiny, dingy room, and all three crammed into one double bed.
Sounds pretty awful, doesn't it? And then you add Don's cold into the mix.
Oh yeah, Don's sick.
He's got this dogged, annoying cold. Eugene describes him rolling around, squirming, constantly blowing his nose, sneezing,
And complaining.
and repeatedly saying, "Oh, me, if my mama could only see me now." You can just picture the scene.
Poor guys. How did Raleigh and Eugene sleep?
Eugene says sleep was strictly on the installment plan for them. Don apparently got no sleep at all. Not exactly a restful night.
Okay, so next morning, there's maybe a glimmer of hope. They hear about some work.
Yeah, they catch wind of a man needing workers to weed carrots out on his farm. Irrigated land, just outside town.
And the offer sounds okay at first.
$1 per row for digging out weeds. Eugene thinks, sounded good. They're desperate. They find the guy. He's happy for the help. Seems promising.
But then they get to the field, and the reality hits.
Instantly. The rows are just impossibly long. A nearby worker tells them they're at least a quarter mile. You couldn't even see the end.
And the work itself.
Crawling on your hands and knees in this hard blue clay soil. It sounds brutal.
And the tool they're given.
A putty knife.
To read a quarter-mile row in clay soil.
Yep. Tells you everything about the job, doesn't it?
Eugene mentions two kinds of weeds. One easy, one not so easy.
Oh, the second one sounds like a nightmare. Deeply and obstinately embedded, he says, trying to pull it was like tugging at a strand of wire stapled to a locust post.
Great image. And when it snaps.
It snaps with the ping of a broken banjo string. You can feel the frustration in that description.
And the physical toll is immediate.
They're quickly drenched with sweat, blisters forming on their hands. Even using the putty knife was only slightly less difficult than pulling by hand. Pure punishment.
So this doesn't last long for Eugene and Raleigh.
No. Around midday, they have this moment of clarity. They realize they're just wasting time and wearing out clothes for almost nothing.
Raleigh speaks up first.
Yeah, he says, Gene, let's stop this back-breaking business. And Eugene's like, Raleigh, I'm right with you. I've been thinking the same way. He was done.
And how much had they actually done after hours of this?
About 2/3 of one row. That dollar wasn't coming anytime soon.
Not at that rate, no. So then they tell Don they're quitting at noon.
Right, they call over to him in the next row.
But Don decides differently.
He does. He's staying. His logic is, well, pretty straightforward. I need to work out enough dough to buy a ticket home. His goal shifted. It wasn't just get east, it was get home to Philly, and this is the only way he saw to earn the fare.
Makes sense, in a desperate kind of way.
Yeah.
So noon comes, they eat at the farmhouse, described as a rickety old shack.
Yeah, not exactly luxury. Then it's time to say goodbye to Don, at least for now.
And they give him their earnings.
In a nice gesture of solidarity, yeah. They tell the farmer to give whatever they earned that morning to Don. Then Raleigh and Eugene hit the road again, still stuck.
And they immediately decide to split up.
Yeah, it was a common strategy for hitchhikers back then. Figured they'd increase their chances of getting a ride out of Holtville if they were alone. Easier for a driver to pick up one person than two.
Makes sense. Where do they agree to meet?
Plan is to reunite in Yuma, down at the railroad freight yards, assuming they both make it.
So Eugene's alone again. Back to trying to thumb a ride. Works at it all afternoon, vainly till the going down of the sun.
And as it gets dark, the type of traffic changes. Fewer cars, mostly big trucks now.
The ones heading across the desert to Yuma.
Exactly. They'd stop briefly in Holtville, maybe grab something, before heading out into that barren sea of sand.
And Eugene keeps trying, right? Late into the night.
He does. Makes what he calls futile attempts to talk to these drivers, get a ride. It's just him, the dark highway, and these huge trucks rolling through. Very lonely image.
This leads to a couple of really difficult encounters, doesn't it? Shows the less friendly side of the road.
Absolutely. Two very different but equally tough interactions.
Let's take the first one, the really hostile truck driver.
Right. Eugene spots this big transfer truck parked on the main street, which is pretty much empty by now, drivers sitting inside the cab.
Eugene approaches cautiously.
Sounds like it. He just pecked on the closed window, a very gentle approach.
The reaction is intense.
Immediate and explosive, the driver just exploded into a rage, unleashes this flood of vulgar, blasphemous curse words. Eugene describes his mouth as scornful, snarled.
Just for knocking on the window. Wow.
Yeah, totally unprovoked, seemingly. The driver doesn't even look at him, just snaps the ignition on, slams the starter, shoves it in gear, and roars off.
What does Eugene think after that?
His reaction is kind of like, boy, did I ever touch his sore spot. He hopes he never meets another driver that beastly, and then he thinks of that Bible verse.
For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh.
Exactly. It's how he processes it. He's trying to find some framework, some understanding, even for that kind of random hostility. It's a real insight into his mindset.
Such a sharp contrast to meeting Raleigh and Don earlier. Okay, so encounter number 2. Different vibe.
Very different. A little further up the street, he sees this hunched figure leaning against a lamppost.
He could hear the guy complaining before he even reaches him.
Yeah, mumbling complaints.
Mm-hmm.
Eugene tries to talk to him, but the guy's just not interested in cheerful conversation. He's also stranded. Things are awfully hard for him.
And he's physically suffering too, right?
Very much so. Eugene says his thinly clad body trembled, teeth chattering constantly from the cold desert night. He's just greatly embittered.
And this highlights Eugene's own predicament too, doesn't it? He can't actually help the guy.
Exactly. Eugene is penniless himself, doesn't have extra clothes. He can offer sympathy, maybe an ear, but not practical relief.
And the man is just lost in his own misery.
Completely. He can hardly think or talk of anything but his misery. He won't even listen when Eugene tries to talk about the gospel. Just totally shut down.
So what does Eugene do? It's a difficult situation.
He politely excuses himself. He realizes the man's despair is just dragging him down too, only added misery to my own distress. So he leaves him there, pitifully hunched, teeth clicking a mournful monotone.
That's rough. Witnessing that kind of despair and knowing you can't fix it, and maybe needing to protect yourself from it too.
It's a really poignant, sad moment.
So after all that,
Mm-hmm.
still no ride, those encounters, he finally gives up for the night.
Yeah, he realizes he's not getting out of Holtville tonight. He heads back to that palm-dotted, park-like square in the middle of town.
And you can just picture him, right, sitting on a bench, totally dejected.
Head in his hands, elbows on knees, just exhausted and disheartened. It's late, traffic's quieted down, he's nodding off.
And then it hits him. The bench is a bed.
Pretty much his only option. So he lies down, curls up, tries to stay warm.
And he actually falls asleep. For a bit.
He manages about 2 hours, then gets woken up suddenly by these sounds. Plop, bump, thud.
He must have been terrified, thinking someone was throwing rocks at him.
Exactly. Especially when something lands right near his head on the bench, in the dark, alone.
Yeah, scary.
But he figures it out.
He investigates and realizes it's just the ripe dates falling from the palm tree above him.
Huh. That's almost comical after everything else.
He says he laughed at his own fear. Small moment of absurdity, I guess.
But sleep is still elusive after that.
Yeah, he can't get back to sleep because of the disagreeable chill of the night. That desert cold really sets in. So, new plan. Where does he go?
He decides to walk to the all-night cafe. It's out at the edge of town on the highway leading to Yuma. Figured it'd be warm, at least. And maybe, just maybe, a chance for a ride.
And this time it works.
Finally. It's about 4 in the morning when he gets there.
And he sees
An oil truck driver, inside, just finishing a sandwich at the counter. This could be it.
he must have been nervous approaching him after the angry driver incident.
He describes it exactly that way, with some fear and trembling. It took guts to ask again.
He just asks straight up, going to Yuma.
Yep. Sir, are you going to Yuma? And the driver's initial response is just, yep, kind of disinterested.
But Eugene pushes a bit more, makes a plea.
He does. He explains his situation from North Carolina, trying to get east for days, really emphasizes how much he'd appreciate the lift.
And this connects with the driver.
It seems to. Eugene felt his plea was quite a pitiful one, and it worked. The driver showed some degree of sympathy.
And magic words.
Okay, kid, you can come along. We are leaving in a few minutes. Huge relief for Eugene. Finally, a way out.
After everything, the waiting, the awful work, the bad night, the tough encounters,
Yeah.
he's finally leaving Holtville.
The ride itself isn't exactly comfortable, though. He's in the warm cab, super tired, but can't really sleep.
Why not?
Just the roar of the truck's engine, plus he's still dealing with those ever-present gnawing hunger pains. Getting a ride doesn't solve all the problems.
They drive those 40 monotonous miles across a dark, lifeless desert. That landscape feels symbolic somehow.
It really does. Like, emerging from that difficult, intense experience in Holtville into this stark emptiness before reaching the next stage.
They get to Yuma around 6 a.m.
Driver drops him on a convenient corner. Eugene thanks him, and just like that, his ordeal in the Imperial Valley is over.
What's the first thing he does in Yuma?
Just kind of ambles about the city, takes it in. He notes it's a desert city near Mexico,
Yeah.
known for its Spanish vibe, and weirdly, for elopers getting married there.
Huh. A new place, new possibilities, maybe new challenges.
Exactly. End of one chapter, start of another.
Wow, what a chapter that was, though. Holtville really threw everything at Eugene. Being stranded, that brutal farm work, the awful sleeping conditions, and those encounters. The sheer hostility from one guy, the deep despair from another.
It really hammers home the grit you needed for that kind of journey, just relentless perseverance. But it also shows, doesn't it, how much hinges on those unpredictable moments, like that final driver showing a bit of sympathy. That one act of kindness made all the difference right then.
It really makes you wonder, how much of getting through tough times is just your own determination, your own grit, and how much is just, well, down to the chance encounters, the unexpected help or lack thereof from others.
It's that mix, isn't it? You have to keep pushing, keep trying, like Eugene did all night. But sometimes you just need that one person, that one small break to actually make progress. Thinking about everything he went through there, what part of his time stranded in Holtville really sticks with you?
Definitely gives you a lot to think about. Join us next time as we continue our deep dive into Vagabond on Victory Road. We'll find out what awaits Eugene in Yuma.